So we'll begin now. So hello everyone, welcome back. I'm glad seeing you all here today. And this is our last week of the Gita reading series. And today we'll be discussing the chapter 17. So as you all know, my name is Kautukastu. I'm a member of Trans Dimensions Student Club of ISC Bangalore. And I would like to thank you everyone for taking your time to pause and reflect together. But before we move into today's theme, let's briefly reflect on what we have learned in the last week. We discovered the importance of self awareness, humility, and seeing the super soul in everyone. We learned that modes of nature shape our moods, and actions. We reflected that this world is a perverted banyan tree and that we struggle only because we try to enjoy independently of Krishna. And in our last session, we saw how divine qualities of scriptural guidance align our lives with Krishna centered growth, while pride and anger pulls us away. Now, let me ask you a question. What constitutes a first class life? Is it good fame, wealth, or something else? You can answer in the chat box with one word. What constitutes a good life? Okay, so Kaushik says peace and happiness. Okay, so the question will be how will you achieve peace or happiness? Anyone else? What constitutes a first class life? Fame, wealth, power, something else? Okay, so in my opinion, it is fate. By upgrading our fate, we can have a first class life. But the follow up question would be how fate can lead us to our first class life. So to get that answer, we'll move into chapter 17 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And the theme for today's session is leading first class life. In this chapter, Lord Krishna explains how fate quietly shapes the quality of our life. So if you are ready to reflect sincerely and engage with today's discussion, please give a thumbs up in the chat. Amazing. So with that intention, it is my great pleasure to invite our esteemed speaker of the series, Sri Vigrah Prabhu from ISKCON Bangalore, to kindly take over and guide us. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Kautuk. Happy to be with all of you again for this session. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So today we are going to discuss the penultimate chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is the 17th chapter, the divisions of faith, Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yogaha. In this chapter, Lord Krishna describes the three kinds of faith based on the influence of the three gunas. It is faith which actually shapes our choices. So the first point in this chapter, Krishna says, your faith shapes your choices. So nourish it with habits that bring you closer to Krishna. So far, through so many instructions from the Bhagavad Gita, we have understood that we are not our bodies, we are spirit soul, and Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. He is the supreme personality, and we are also personalities eternally. And human life is actually meant for developing or reviving our personal relationship with Krishna. So, we need to do those things which will help us to develop our personal relationship with Krishna. We have to uh, do things which will bring us closer to Krishna. That is what we are supposed to be doing in the human form of life. So, what kind of choices we are going to take in our life, that is going to lead, those choices will lead us to a particular destination or destiny. And these choices are shaped by our faith. What kind of faith we have. That is why in this chapter, in the 18th chapter, that is final chapter, Krishna is going to talk about what you must do finally to Arjuna. After instructing everything, Krishna says, you surrender to me. But then Krishna says, the choice is yours. So before giving that ultimate opportunity for all of us to choose, Krishna is describing in this 17th chapter that faith is going to shape your choice. So better have first class faith. See, if you want to lead a first class life, you must have first class faith. So, what is the meaning of that first class faith? This we have already understood in the previous chapter towards the end. If we have to have first class faith, our actions must be based on the directions given in the manual of our life, that is the scriptures. So, when we make choices based on the scriptural injunctions, then it is called a first class life, a perfect life. In this chapter, Lord Krishna talks about three kinds of faith that people generally have in this world. So he says, those whose faith is sattvic in the mode of sattva guna, they generally worship devatas, and those who are in the mode of passion, they worship some demons, some powerful personalities. We also see here many times a lot of people glorifying politicians or having big cutouts of them and pouring milk on their cutouts, worshipping them literally so that they get their favor, they get their things done. So any powerful person in this world, lot of followers, fan following will be there. So those who are admiring a leader who is very powerful and considering them to be the one who is going to solve all their problems and literally worship them, their faith in them, that is actually called as Rajasic faith. And those who are in the mode of ignorance, Tamasic, they worship ghosts and spirits. They worship dark energy. You know, they have their own methods of, so-called black magic or something like that. And also, sometimes people, in the name of tapasya, they torture their bodies. Many times we might have seen people piercing their bodies with sharp needles, thinking that if I do this, God will be pleased with me. That is an example for tamasic austerity, tamasic faith. So, rajasic faith, tamasic faith, and sattvic faith. So, sattvic faith is better than the remaining two because sattvic faith is based on proper understanding. Those who worship the devatas, they're actually categorized as sattvic. Why? Because they know that devatas are powerful personalities. They are empowered by the Supreme, and the devatas are capable of bestowing certain benedictions. But then, as we have already discussed in the seventh chapter, even worshipping devatas is not the supreme because devatas are limited. Their powers are coming from the Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, Lord Krishna says, Sattvic faith is good, but why don't you come to the platform of spiritual goodness? What is that? Spiritual, transcendental faith. That is Krishna consciousness. So, worshipping the Supreme Lord Krishna or Vishnu, that is something which can elevate us altogether out of this material existence. So our faith shape shapes our choices. So we should make the right choices. For that, we need to have proper understanding and based on that, make choices. So therefore, let us do those activities which will bring us closer to Krishna. It is just like, suppose if you are using Instagram, your Instagram feed will keep showing those reels which you watch repeatedly. Suppose you're watching reels on fitness, in your feed you keep getting fitness content. If you watch gossip, you will keep getting gossip. Similarly, in our lives, what we repeatedly hear about, what we repeatedly associate with, whom we associate with, our internal algorithm also keeps suggesting similar thoughts, similar actions. Therefore, the scriptures recommend that let us hear about Krishna, let us associate with devotees, let us engage in spiritual activities connected with Lord Krishna. Then it becomes easier for us to think about Him. It becomes easier for us to come closer to Krishna and thus achieve the purpose of human life. Let us go to the second point. Here it is said, food, discipline, speech influence your mindset and spiritual focus. So in the this chapter, Lord Krishna talks about sattvic food, rajasic food, tamasic food. Sattvic food is that which actually helps you have good bodily fitness plus mental serenity. The food that we eat not only nourishes our body, it also affects our mindset, our thought process, our consciousness. In fact, there have been a lot of research works conducted which talk about food mood relationships. If somebody is uh, having a very bad temper, one of the possible reasons is such a person might be eating a lot of spicy food. So there is a relationship between food and mood. And the Bhagavad Gita has already spoken about it thousands of years ago. So, what kind of food we are eating? There is a saying, right? You are what you eat. So, what kind of food we eat, that is going to influence our mindset. So, it is recommended that we eat sattvic food. Sattvic food, uh, that is, you know, vegetables, fruits, milk, right? Freshly prepared food, grains, dal, all these come under sattvic food. Of course, there are exceptions. Among vegetables, there is onion and garlic, which actually comes under rajasic and tamasic food. It is not sattvic. It's because of the effect that it produces in our consciousness. But in fact, sattvic food is good, but better than sattvic food is, as we have already discussed, food that is offered to the Lord in devotion. That is called prasadam. Prasadam is super sattvic because when you take prasadam, the food that is offered to the Lord, our consciousness becomes conducive for practice of bhakti. Bhakti pro thoughts will come in our mind when we take only prasadam. So that's why it is said, you are what you eat. So if we eat prasadam, which is prepared by the devotees with love and devotion and offered to the Lord, then it will help us to become more God conscious. So we should also lead a disciplined life, as we have already discussed about the importance of having a fixed routine, disciplined sadhana. Like we say that you need to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra a fixed number of times every day. No matter what the situation, you must follow the routine that every day, this many times at least, I will chant the Lord's names because it helps us to fix our mind in a proper, determined way in bhakti. Otherwise, we simply go by our mood. Today I'm in a good mood, so let me chant more. Oh, today I'm not in a very good mood. I'm in a bad mood, so I cannot chant. No, in this way we cannot make spiritual progress. Therefore, a fixed, disciplined sadhana routine is very much required. That influences our mindset. In fact, if you follow this spiritual routine of everyday chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, hearing about Krishna from devotees, and also taking Krishna Prasadam, if you do this every day regularly, you will yourself experience that you become free from so much of negativity. So many negative thoughts will go away. In fact, even habits and addictions you can easily get out of. So, therefore, this discipline is so important. And then Krishna also talks about speech. What kind of talk we are hearing, what kind of talk we are doing, that also influences our mindset and spiritual focus. So, hearing from the right source, there is a principle, right? GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So, if we are feeding garbage into our mind body system, what you can expect output also will be garbage only. So, therefore, it's important that we pay attention not only to the food that we feed to our belly, but food that we are feeding to our mind and intellect. That is also shaping our mindset, our consciousness, our focus. So, we should be careful about it. So, human life means leading a responsible life. Everything should be very consciously chosen. What kind of food, what kind of routine I'm following, what kind of speech I'm hearing, or how am I speaking to others. All these are very, very important. So, a devotee means he is very disciplined in all of these aspects of life. Let's go to the third point. In this chapter, Krishna talks about interesting austerity of body, mind, and speech, and he says these are very essential. As we have discussed, austerity means tapasya. What is the meaning of austerity? Voluntarily accepting some inconvenience for spiritual advancement. That is called austerity. Now, we also take austerities for our career, for our material progress, isn't it? For example, a student studies, even though it is inconvenient, he studies for 5 or 6 or 7 hours. The moment he knows that he has to write a very tough exam, next 1 week time is left. So he forgoes all his luxuries. He forgoes, playing video games or watching movies. He forgoes all that and dedicates a good amount of time to study because he knows that it is important. So, since it is important to study the exam and do well, study for the exam and do well in the exam, so he takes up some voluntarily, he takes up some inconvenience. Studying for so long is inconvenient, but still he takes up. This is an example for tapasya. But the tapasya that is recommended in the scriptures is for the purpose of spiritual advancement. Any activity can be performed using these three: body, mind, and speech. Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. These are called three karana. Karana means instruments. Three instruments that are employed in executing any kind of work. These are the three things, right? Body. We do any work either physically or mentally through thoughts or verbally through our speech. And Krishna says it is important to know self restraint, to practice self restraint on all these three levels: physical level, mental level, and verbal level. So, what is that? Let us see. Krishna is describing in this chapter what are the austerities of the body, mind, and speech. I'll just read three shlokas and quickly understand the meaning we will discuss. In the 14th shloka of this chapter, Krishna says, Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. The tapas of the Sharira, the bodily austerity. What is that? Worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother. Cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, brahmacharya, and non-violence. These are also austerities of the body. So we have to bow down in front of the Supreme Lord, in front of the devotees. Here, Brahmanas refer to one who is fixed in spiritual knowledge. Not simply by birth, somebody can become a Brahmana. One who is fixed in spiritual knowledge is called Brahmana. When you see a knowledgeable person, you need to bow down. That is a practice of humility. And then, Guru, spiritual master, we need to bow down. And we need to bow down in front of our superiors, like our parents. Now, these are actually austerity of the body. Maintaining cleanliness, being simple, simple living and high thinking, and practice of brahmacharya, celibacy, very important, and ahimsa. These are actually the austerities of the body, which is recommended for everybody. Now, Krishna talks about in the next shloka austerity of speech. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Austerity of speech consists in speaking truthfully and beneficially and avoiding speech that offends. One should also recite the Vedas regularly. So, what is the right way to use our speech? Right? What is that? If you want to attain control over your speech, many times we speak something and regret later. Many times we have a loose tongue. Loose tongue leads to a lot of negative consequences, especially in relationships. We must know how much to speak, when to speak, and what to speak. Now, Krishna says if you want to have control over your speech, then this is the protocol you have to follow. Always speak in a way that does not offend others. It does not agitate the minds of the listeners. Secondly, stick to the truth. Thirdly, speak that which is beneficial for the others. And also, most importantly, use your power of speech to recite the scriptures, to chant the holy names of the Lord. In this way, if you practice, you will have a hold on your speech. Your speech will be purified. That is the tapasya of the speech. So that's why we recommend we have to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day. By chanting, what happens? We are using our tongue. to glorify the Lord, to connect with the Lord. Prabhupada said, our Krishna consciousness process is nothing but tongue training program, TTM, tongue training program. Tongue has got two businesses. One is to talk, the second one is to uh, taste varieties of foodstuffs. Now, in Krishna consciousness, we do both of these in service of the Lord. What is that? By tongue, we chant Hare Krishna, and using our tongue, we taste Krishna Prasadam. By doing just these two activities, we can attain control over our tongue, and other senses will also come under control. So, therefore, we should practice this austerity of speech. And then, austerity of the mind. Krishna says, Manah prasada saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhirityeta tapo manasa muchyate. Serenity, simplicity, gravity, self control, and purity of thought. These are the austerities of the mind. So, how to purify our mind? If you want to attain purification of mind, we need, first of all, uh, saumyatvam. That means we should be simple. We should not have duplicitous thinking. With one person, I'll speak in one way, with another person, I will manipulate and speak in another way. This kind of duplicity is not good for a person who wants to be peaceful and have a peaceful mind. And one should also exercise, one should be satisfied with what one has. Too much hankering after material things will lead to loss of peace of mind, isn't it? Mind becomes very agitated. If you're always chasing behind, if you are never satisfied with what you have, then you can never be peaceful. So if you want to attain a peaceful mind, Krishna says serenity, manah prasadaha. Be satisfied with what you have first. And then, of course, connecting with Krishna. Always, if you become Krishna conscious, then our mind can become purified. So at least some part of the day we should spend thinking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, associating with Krishna's devotees. That will also help us to purify our mind. So these are the austerities of the body, mind, and speech. These are absolutely essential for anyone who wants to lead a first class life. First class life is not got by living in high rise buildings, having a big fat salary, drawing a good salary or big bank balance. Now, these are all not the measures of a good quality life. Krishna is saying, if you have body, mind, and speech in your control, that is first class life. Now, the last point, let us move to the fourth point. So, we have to abide by the scriptures. Then we can actually attain perfection. Whatever we do, we should consult with the scriptures, and we should not do anything whimsically. Just because I like it, I will do. Just because I don't like it, I will reject it. That should not be the attitude. What Krishna says about this in the Bhagavad Gita, let us see that. We should have this mentality. That is the meaning of following Bhagavad Gita. Studying Bhagavad Gita is not just a scholarly work. Okay, I read one book. Like I have read so many books, Bhagavad Gita is also one such book. So I have completed reading all the 700 shlokas, 18 chapters. So now I know what is there in Bhagavad Gita. So what? Not just knowing, it has to be practiced. So in every aspect of our life, whether I am abiding by Krishna's instructions or not, am I acting according to Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita or not? This should always be in the back of our mind. We should be conscious of this always. So, in this way, if we act, then we can attain perfection. In fact, Bhagavad Gita is the manual of our life. We need to lead our life, operate our life based on the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita. So it is not just a uh, scholarly work to study Bhagavad Gita and keep quiet. You have to apply it. And for that, we must first of all know the theory. We should also learn how to apply it by uh, understanding. So, in this Gita summary series, we are also talking about applications. So many applications of the Bhagavad Gita principles we have been discussing in every session, and we should apply it. Then we will see our life is moving towards the desired perfection, which keeps us, which fulfills the mission of human life. So now let us chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for 1 minute together. And as we said, this is the austerity of speech to chant the holy name of the Lord. It is also the austerity of the mind because we are associating with the Lord. It purifies our mind, our thoughts also. So for 1 minute, we will chant. First, we chant the invocation prayer. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. So please chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day. It's the easiest way to stay pure and to associate with the Supreme Lord Krishna. So now we will move on to the next part. Tomorrow we are going to cover the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the finale, 18th chapter, and we are going to talk about why and the how of surrender. What is meant by surrender? Because ultimate instruction of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter is that only surrender to me. So we'll understand why to surrender and what is the meaning of surrender and how to surrender. We will talk about this in the tomorrow's session, which will be the last session in this series, Gita Summary series.